Hi, and welcome to The City Show. I'm your host, John Zimkus. Our first guests are Carrie Ingram from the Lebanon Chamber and Stephen Johns from the Lebanon Rotary. Now, what brings you two together here?
So the Lebanon Country Music Festival is happening in about a month, Friday, June 9th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. and then Saturday, June 10th from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And we're looking forward to a great event again. The great thing is it just keeps building and building and growing year on year. Mm-hmm. So we'll have more vendors. The amount of attendees go up usually every year. The alcohol sales, so all of it, good stuff, obviously.
Now, how long has the Country Music Festival been going on?
About 9 years now.
9 years, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, having it on a Friday night's relatively new, isn't it?
Yeah, we've added Friday a couple years ago with the thinking of, obviously, we'll have a segment of people going on Friday and then, Saturday as well, but also just having that option. And honestly, cost-wise, it made sense. And we decided to do it a few years ago, and it made sense, so we stuck with it.
Now, how much of the downtown Lebanon is blocked off for this?
So Mulberry to Cherry is blocked off, and that's pretty much the bulk of the 2 blocks there are what make up the vendors are on Mulberry, and then the stage is set up on Cherry and Mulberry there, and then the beer garden is Bicentennial Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how many performers will there be?
So
both Friday and Saturday, right?
Yeah, there'll be 2 on Friday. Jesse Lynn Fisher, who's big in town, and then 90 Proof Twang will be after her. And so Jesse Lynn will perform about 5:30 to 6 or so, and then 6 to about 7:30, and then 90 Proof Twang will perform for about an hour after her. And then we have quite the lineup on Saturday. We have 7 performers. Starting with the we have 7 performers, and the main headliner being actually a Lebanon kid who graduated in 2012, I believe, Blake Tyler. So we're looking forward to that.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, Carrie, what kind of vendors can we expect?
So this is actually pretty exciting this year. I was born and raised and graduated here in Lebanon, so I look forward to Country Music Festival every single year. So some of the vendors that we have 18 coming in. One of the new ones is Moldy Cheese Vintage Marketplace. So they're a new store here in town. They're opening up. They're going to be right in front of their location on Mulberry Street. We also have Let's Glow Crazy LED cowboy hats. Mm-hmm. So they're going to set up for us as well. Henna Art, Steak It Easy is coming. Smoke and Bark Barbecue. Woodshed's going to be open as well. We've got kind of a little mix of everything. So we're really looking forward to Friday night, Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, speaking of fun, there are some things for the kids, aren't there?
Yeah, we'll have a family fun zone again. We partner with the 4-H Club. They bring some animals on site, and we'll partner with Lebanon Artscape, a local nonprofit who they provide the bigger bingo, the inflatable bingo and Jenga, and so they'll have some activities for the kids. And they also do a painting mural, so the kids get, they'll be able to take part in that. And so it was quite successful last year, so we obviously wanted to bring it back again this year. So
I recently saw a photograph, perhaps it was from last year, from behind the stage, looking on Cherry Street, looking down Mulberry toward Broadway. I read there was 12,000 people last year. Is that correct?
12 to 15,000 people, yeah. And we're able to kind of figure that from alcohol sales and then aerial photos. And I mean, it is just, a lot of people. And so we're obviously, looking forward to this year, and just knock on wood that the weather's good. Yeah. So,
any idea how far away some of the people come?
Obviously a lot of people in Lebanon and Warren County, but people do come up from Dayton, even down to Cincinnati, and it's quite the event to kick off summer. So it's anyone who's looking for some cold drinks and some good performers, and even like you said, something to do with the kids. It's all there.
Yeah. Now, years past, they used to have a mechanical bull. Do they still have that?
No mechanical bull. we ran with that for a few years, and I think it was time to go on to something else. So, yeah, no mechanical bull.
Now, how do the businesses, Carrie? Do they appreciate the festival? Do they enjoy the festival?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it brings a lot of people into this downtown corridor. And I know we've had some new businesses that have opened up, especially since last year. So they are really excited to have their doors open, welcome people in, and really kind of, continue like that small town charm. Because I feel that's what Lebanon is all about. So it's great to welcome new people downtown in this district.
Now, if somebody wanted to be a vendor, is there still time for them to sign up?
There is not. We have closed the vendors, and we are working on the map to get everybody placed there. We do have Third Fridays and Feast and Folly and some other events coming up that they can definitely reach out to the chamber for.
Well, that whole Mulberry Plaza is now geared for events like this.
Oh yeah.
With the electronic outlets nearby and the small barricades put up so cars won't go down. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
If people want more information, who do they contact?
So they can either contact us at Rotary or just visit LebanonCountryMusicFestival.com or hop on to Chambers, the Lebanon Chambers website, or contact us, individually. We'll be able to answer any questions, or obviously we'll be posting about the event as the weeks come on. But yeah, pretty much.
Now,
everyone.
Stephen, why did Rotary get involved with this? What is Rotary's connection and what's its purpose for putting on this festival?
So for Rotary, it's a fundraiser, and it primarily funds our scholarship fund. And obviously then all proceeds are given back to the community via the scholarship for the high school kids. And I believe even if they go a technical route, that qualifies as well. And so it's been, again, it's grown every year, and so the proceeds have grown every year, and the impact has grown every year. So we're going to continue that momentum.
Now, Carrie, it's obvious that the Chamber loves people to pay attention to Lebanon, but what kind of improvements or what kind of positives does the city get from this?
I think it's exposure. I mean, part of the Chamber's job is to be a really big cheerleader for our businesses. And have that exposure. So being able to have even some of these local food trucks coming in that don't have a physical location, I think is so important to just help them grow their businesses. And the city's right here alongside of us. They also have a role in all of this. I work closely with the city officials. And kudos to them. I mean, they put a lot of work in the streets department, policing. A lot of the planning goes through the city as well. So I'm really appreciative to have all hands on deck. This is such, like he said, such a great kickoff to summer.
One of the things that always amazes me is Sunday morning, you'd never know there was a festival there.
Right, yeah. And that goes, all credit to volunteers and the Lebanon band parents. They help clean up on Saturday night. I mean, it's into 1, 2 in the morning, and so they help clean up and volunteer on that regard. But I mean, yeah, it gets cleaned up real quick. So yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Well, it's definitely a great thing for the city, a great thing for the fundraising for the Rotary Club, and it does bring positive recognition to our great city.
Oh yeah, and not to mention the sponsors that have been just great over the years. Miami Valley Gaming. This is the, I think, 5th year that they've title sponsored the whole event, and they've just been such a big impact, positive impact in the community, and even the Warren County Board of Developmental Disabilities. They've sponsored the Family Fun Zone for going on 5-6 years now. Rent to Own Lebanon, Lebanon Ford, Bob Pulte Chevrolet, I mean, Girdwood, all these big, staples in Lebanon have, stepped up and sponsored again this year, which is just, it's amazing.
Now, how many acts on Friday night again? 2?
So 2 acts on Friday, yep, and then 7 acts on Saturday. And I blanked on the start on Saturday will be with the Lebanon Music Academy. And so they'll have some of their kids perform starting at noon on Saturday, which is great to see. And they have a lot of talent. So after them, then it's 6 performers. And again, headlined with Blake Tyler, who's a Lebanon graduate. So
Fantastic. And Carrie, how many vendors?
We have 18 vendors, and like he said, we've got some phenomenal sponsors. I know Marissa Williams with State Farm. She did the photo sponsor last year. She's doing it again. So we have some great businesses that are plugged into this. It's going to be a fantastic time. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, great. Well, it's best of luck to you, and best of luck to the city, because it's a fantastic thing we have here.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the City Show. In this segment, our guests are Sean Coffey, the Director of Electronic Operations,
Yes.
and Guy Augustine, a Deputy Director of Electronic Engineering.
Correct. Yes.
Now, the City of Lebanon has its own electronic department. Is that unusual for a municipality?
Well, believe it or not, there are about 82 in the state of Ohio and almost a little over 2,000 across the country. So it's not really a unique thing. It's unique here in southwestern Ohio. Lebanon is one of about 3, the city of Hamilton to our southwest and the village of Blanchester over to the east.
Now, at one time, we actually had large generators here, right?
Yes, we did.
And, about 20, 30 yards from where we are right now, I think.
Yes.
But we don't have that anymore. So where does the electricity come from?
Well, what we do, there's a couple of sources for the city of Lebanon. We first bought into a power plant up in northern Ohio, up near Bowling Green, called Fremont. The state organization that we belong to, which is called AMP, collected several of the members together, and we purchased this natural gas-fired power plant up there called Fremont. So that provides about 20% of our needs. Then the remaining 80%, we go out and buy wholesale contracts off the wholesale market to provide the remaining needs of the city. Because, the city was able to find that was a much more cost-effective way to provide the power than generated here locally.
Now, it's somewhat confusing to me, and perhaps other people watching,
Yes.
that the power plants near Bowling Green, but we don't actually get the exact power they're generating from Bowling Green. We get it from nearby, and they fill in the void when. How does that work? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we're probably not getting the electrons that are being produced up there to serve us here locally. Everyone really feeds into the grid, and there's a larger organization called PJM that really manages that part of the overall grid. And their responsibility is pretty much from Ohio all the way to the eastern seaboard. And they have multiple functions, including making sure there's enough power to serve all the needs in that footprint. And then they also make sure that there are enough pathways, which we call transmission lines, to get that power where it needs to be. So it's a pretty complicated job that they have to do, but it's a necessary thing.
Now, having our power plant, or the part of power plant up in Bowling Green, is that a normal distance, or is that short, or is that long compared to other communities?
Oh, it's probably pretty typical. Here in Ohio, I don't know if you've really read a lot about it, but we used to have a lot of power plants down on the Ohio River. And a lot of them have decommissioned. They were coal plants. And probably over the last 5 to 10 years,
A lot of them have
a lot of them have been decommissioned and gone away. So now a lot of the power that's provided in Ohio is being provided from really all over the place. It could be many states away to something here locally.
Now, Guy, since one of the main sources is up in north, what do you do as the engineer? What is your function as far as the community goes and the electricity?
So yes, I'm glad you asked that question. So a lot of my work is a lot of the design work that goes around when a new customer would like to come into our grid. I would be the one to look up how much of the capacity will they need, what size transformers will they need, what size of the power lines, if they're going overhead or they're going underground. All those things will be under my belt, the things that I would need to work on, and to also make sure that their needs are met as well.
Now, is it solely the limits of the city, or do we go beyond that?
So primarily it is in the city, of course, but of course sometimes some of our neighboring, we may have to annex those particular customers if they would like to come into the city as well.
And we're physically tied to the grid through Duke's system. So yeah, obviously as we add customers and we look at the capacity that we have, as Guy said, most of our limitations are internal, but we still have to work with Duke to make sure that how we're physically tied to them, they also have that capacity to serve us, because they're really the interstate that we're tied into to get all of these resources to us. So it's a combination of both.
Now, Guy, you mentioned whether or not the line will go underground. I recall, probably long before you were here, Guy, maybe 15 years ago, when there was a remnant of a hurricane which came up. It was just the wind and not the rain so much, but we had electricity, and all around us they did not. And I remember radio announcers saying, if you got to get gas for your car, go up to Lebanon. What was the situation that we were in good shape and others were not?
Well, I think it's a combination of many things that we do here. And I know Guy can touch on a few of those.
So we like to make sure that we're reliable. So we have constant training with our linemen, of course, and the everyday process of making sure that we have new transformers, our infrastructure. We're definitely making sure that we're taking care of our infrastructure and not letting it deteriorate, and then that's when we're going to change it out. We're being proactive in making sure that we're changing out our underground cable, our overhead wires, our transformers, our poles, and of course we're doing a lot of line clearances as well with tree trimming, because a lot of times when those storms happen from remnants from hurricanes and things of that nature, trees are always falling on those power lines, and of course that's causing a lot of delays and outages. But we are proactive in making sure that we're taking care of those things now, and we're ready so when those storms do come about, we're ready to go and restore the power as quickly as possible.
Now, in the case I was talking about, were we more prepared than other communities?
Yes, I was here at that time. I've been here just a few years. And yeah, I think we were better prepared. Another thing that I think adds to that is, we have local people here that do the work on the system, that are familiar with the system. So they're a lot more responsive. They know the system. They can repair it quickly. But yeah, we did all the things that Guy mentioned as far as keeping up with line clearance, replacing things so that, the wind didn't affect ours as much as others. Because, we actually initially with that storm lost about 90% of our system. We never lost our supply and our tie to Duke, so we always had that supply. And within 48 hours, we had everyone restored. But we had to replace a dozen poles and a variety of different things. And then during that same week, then we went over to the city of Hamilton under our mutual aid and helped them for the remainder of that week. And then the second week, we went up to what was DP&L at the time, which is AES Ohio today, and went and worked on their system for another week.
You mentioned mutual aid. Tell me more about that. Do we have agreements with certain communities?
Absolutely. As I spoke about, there's 82 municipals here in Ohio. So we have an agreement among all of those through the AMP organization I mentioned, then through the national. The national organization is called APPA, and we have a national agreement with all the other remaining municipals. So as an example, April 1st of this year, there was a small tornado that went through Wapakoneta, north of Ohio here. They sent out a mutual aid request that details out, we need this type of crew, this type of material, and that organization through the mutual aid quickly dispatched that, and we sent a crew up there and helped them out for 3 or 4 days. Last year, we sent crews down to Orlando under mutual aid after a hurricane.
Yes.
So fortunately, we've provided mutual aid. We'd much rather do that than receive mutual aid.
Yeah.
But yeah, we absolutely have contracts and procedures already established and in place so that we can quickly initiate those if we need those.
Now, I imagine some of the viewers may get this phone calls too, but every so often I'll get a phone call. Hello, I'm from your electric company. And the minute they say, I'm from your electric company, without saying the city of Lebanon or anything, I hang up. But is there a problem with that sort of thing? People, scammers calling up and trying to confuse residents by claiming they're going to do something better for you somehow?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it a scam, because when you leave Lebanon, and say you're a Duke customer or you're an AES customer, they have what's called customer choice for their supply. So that's what those callers are doing, is they have no idea they're calling people in Lebanon or one of our customers. But yeah, they are, in most cases, can't speak for all of them, legitimate, because as I said, they have customer choice.
What kind of staff do we have in our electric department here?
Right now, we have about 19 full-time employees that work for our electric department at this point.
And how many vehicles are involved with that?
Somewhere between 20.
Yeah, I'd say 20 to 25.
25.
Yeah, obviously it takes quite a bit of effort to cover utility this size. It's we have about 180, 190 linear miles of infrastructure, so that's quite a bit of infrastructure. And I know Guy spoke about it as far as our replacement that we do. We've got a dedicated underground program and an overhead program, so we really have to replace 4 to 6 miles of infrastructure every single year.
Now, the city is redoing parts of, I believe it's at Cherry Street this year. I think they're, will you as electric department be involved in that? Putting any kind of cables underground or something of that nature?
It depends on the Cherry Street project. Not so much. It just depends on the project, because typically we put underground in like new subdivisions, new commercial development, but we don't purposely typically convert overhead to underground in most areas, because for a variety of reasons. Overhead, both in cost and reliability, is superior typically than underground. Overhead lasts a lot longer. It's a lot more cost effective than underground. Underground's about 8 times as much. So we selectively put it in, like I said, residential areas, new development for commercial and industrial.
Now, Guy, they're planning a gigantic build west of town. I think it's called Parkview, if I'm not mistaken.
Parkside.
Parkside,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Now, are you involved in planning that, or?
Yes. As the electric department, we are heavily involved in all of the planning of new development that's coming into place. We are currently still looking at different ways that we're going to serve Parkside and the community. We know that over the next 10 years, there's going to be a build over the next 10 years. So we're planning now of what stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and so forth will be, so that we're serving them adequately and effectively as well.
Now, they'll, of course, have probably underground, I imagine. Now, bringing the power to them, will that mean you have to redo some of the cables going out to Parkside?
Yeah, so we'll have to build some of our more poles down Main Street as well to serve them. And then, of course, we're working through the logistics right now of if we're going to go underground across 63, I believe is it 63, to serve them, and or if we're going to go overhead. And so we're working through some of those logistics right now. But we do have it planned in place so that to make sure that we're served that community, and they'll continue to get the great service of Lebanon.
When my wife and I were first married, Lebanon used to have the reputation of having its power going off quite a bit. Not so much now. I mean,
Yes.
But I do recall some instances where apparently some squirrel committed suicide by touching the wrong wire, and it knocked out a neighborhood or so. Are those still issues?
Those still happen, but yeah, we take a lot of preventive measures. We've designed things in. There's a lot of ways that you can do the installation to help protect from that happening. So yeah, we've tried to engineer some methods in there to try to eliminate those, but you're never going to eliminate animals. You're never going to eliminate what Mother Nature throws at you. So we do our best. You know, we reinvest back into the system. As Guy said, we do a lot of replacement. We try to replace our infrastructure well before it falls down or blows up. So,
and of course, we're doing this for preventative measures as well, because anything can happen. Mother Nature can come about tomorrow, and then if there is a tornado that, God forbid, something were to happen in Lebanon, we have the equipment here to service our city as well. So I think we have at least $2 million worth of equipment here in Lebanon, so that if anything does happen, we are ready and prepared ready to go.
Now, speaking of Mother Nature, in the last month or so, it's like every 3 or 4 days, the furnace goes off and the air conditioner goes on, and then that goes off and the furnace goes on. Is that a strain at all on the department, the electricity?
usually not this time of year, it's not, because you think about like in the cold of winter or the heat of summer, that type of equipment almost runs 24 hours a day. Where right now, it may, like a day like today, even though it's in the upper 70s, your air conditioner may only run in the afternoon. It's not really running in the morning. So it doesn't cause as many issues as it does in the heart of winter or in the heart of summer.
Well, Guy, Sean, is there anything else we should tell the viewers about the electric department that they should know?
Well, I think one other thing that we could speak about are how our rates, our electric rates, compare to like Duke and AES Ohio out there. You know, because we really monitor that, because one of the things we want to do is obviously provide a greater level of service at a competitive price. So we always pay attention to that. Every 5 years, we typically do a comprehensive electric rate study to see how we compare. We also monitor it month to month. And I know I prepared some stuff a couple of months ago where we looked at our rates compared to those two. And a typical residential customer would pay about $90 here in Lebanon. Down in Cincinnati, Duke, it's about $100 for that same. And then up in Dayton, it's about $120. So I know there's been a lot of press here over the last 6 months to a year where, you know, those two companies continue to announce, hey, we're raising rates and we're doing this. Well, that's something that we typically don't have here. You know, we try to have competitive rates and have rates that are fairly stable, that don't fluctuate a whole lot. So I think we're achieving that right now, and we continue to look at that to make sure that we stay competitive and offer that great product.
Now, is part of the reason we can be competitive like that is because we don't have stockholders?
That is a contributing factor, absolutely, because yeah, those companies are there to make a profit and pay the shareholders, where we reinvest that back into our system. And I think part of it too is we take a long-term plan with our wholesale power that we buy off the wholesale market. We just made a purchase, so we have most of our needs locked up under contract through 2027.
Yes. Yep.
So we look at it long term, and we break it up almost like a financial portfolio to try to hedge against fluctuating prices and high prices.
And one of the things I would like to add as well is the planning that we do in the electric department. We plan. We're looking at downstream of things, what things are going to look like, what things are going to look at. We're also getting from our wholesalers and advice on some of the different measures that we should be looking at as well, and their opinions as well, of course, of the power and the cost of power, so that we're making the right decision. We're just not making it solely on us as the electric department, but we're getting those eyes and ears and the boots on the ground of the people who know exactly what's going on in the market, so that we can make the best decision as well, and it'd be a lot cost effective for the city of Lebanon.
Great. Well, guys, Sean, thank you for being with us, and thank you for coming all the way from upstairs to down here to join us. So,
Yeah, you could have just joined us upstairs and gone on the
you
road.
could have done a remote location.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for
Well,
having
thanks
us.
for letting us know that we have a good deal here in Lebanon with the electric department, and we're very, very competitive. I appreciate that. Okay. We'll be back in just a moment. Hi, and welcome back. Our guests now are Mary Bookman and Michael Polite from the Lebanon Lions Club. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, first off, tell us a little about the Lions Club.
Okay, well, just the Lions Club was founded back in 1917, so it's over 100 years old, Lions Club International. It was founded in Chicago and by a man named Melvin Jones, there were several businessmen, they wanted to do something to help the community. So that's kind of how it started. A lot of people are familiar with it because of vision, and we do glasses and things like that. But we also do many other things. But that kind of started in 1925. Helen Keller asked the Lions Club if they would be the Knights of the Blind. So that's where that came from. And so many years we worked on trying to eradicate blindness, getting glasses. They developed contacts, things like that later. But now we actually focus on several different areas besides the glasses. We still have glasses collections here in Lebanon. We focus on visions, of course, one of our number one that stays out, hunger. We help here at the Lebanon Food Pantry and help with the Warrior Backpack Program, things like that. Diabetes, pediatric cancer. We work with our environment. We've actually been collecting bags here in Lebanon and the Leo Club from the high school. That's one of our environmental projects. And then we put benches around the city and at the schools. Youth, and we also sponsor a Leo Club at the high school, and that kind of goes along with the youth. And then disaster relief. So we do that more like state and nationally. So just recently, like when we had the tornado in Goshen, we were able to help with that. The Ohio Lions went in and gave them thousands of dollars worth of gift cards to work with. For Lebanon here, it's actually our 65th anniversary as a Lions Club, which is pretty exciting, been around for a long time. While we do give money to state and we do some international things, we also do many things right here in the Lebanon area. We give scholarships away to the high school students. This year we're excited. We had been giving $500 ones. This year, because we did so well in our Route 42 car show last year, we're doing 3 $1,000 scholarships for our graduating seniors this year. We pay for eye exams for students at Lebanon schools, preschool vision screenings here in Warren County. We help out with the Lebanon City Schools Lunch Debt Program. We donate to the food pantry. We also go in and volunteer. We were just here Thursday doing the shelving. I mentioned we were already Leo Club sponsors for the Leo Club. That's also a club for getting the kids involved in service at the high school. And we also have been paying for books at the Title I reading program at Bowman Primary School, where I happen to work. And recently, so if someone also comes to us and just has a need, we had a student from Bowman Primary that was a special needs student and that needed an ability dog, and so we donated $1,000 to help with that. So whether there's a need, we try to help in any way we can in our community. So in fact, the Lions motto is "We serve." So.
Now, where do you meet and when do you meet?
Okay, Mike, you want to talk
We
about
meet
that?
twice a month. Right now we're at the Sipsey Klein office building. And then recently we've been hosting some of our meetings at the Traditions family home to accommodate some of our older members that wanted to be part of our club. So, but yeah, we do meet twice a month.
Now, Mary, you mentioned the Route 42 car show. Tell us about
Right.
that.
Right. We're really excited. This is our 10th annual year. We've had it every year, even the year with COVID. We were able to have it since it's an outdoor event. It's held at the Lifehouse Church, which is just north of town on Utica Road. Last year was our biggest year. We had 168 cars. So due to that, we've decided to add some more trophies this year. We're going to have first, second, and third place trophies. And we do our trophies a little different. Some do like a top 40. We try to go in there and really judge the cars, and we have them categorized all the way from antique cars all the way up to new cars. So we even have a category for 2020 to 2023. So we want everybody to bring their cars out and enjoy it. It's a real fun day. I don't know if, Mike, if you want to share a little bit about some
Yeah,
of
it's great.
If I may say one thing,
Yes.
now you do this with the Waynesville Lions Club.
Yes.
Correct.
So it's a joint
glad you
area,
said
sort,
that.
of,
Yes.
sort of halfway between the two. Almost.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, Waynesville approached us 10 years. We had just kind of restarted our club in 2012, 2013 here in Lebanon. And Waynesville, and we had like $5 in our checking account at the time. And so Waynesville came to us and said, would you like to help us with this project? And so we did the first year. I think we both made like $500 per club, and we split it evenly, but we all worked hard to get sponsors. And I think we had 50 cars that first show. It was raining that day, but that was really our first fundraiser, our first project that we had here in Lebanon. So we always split the funds with them. So all the money is going back into both communities, which is a kind of a neat thing. It's a joint venture, with the two of us. So that location's perfect on Route 42 because
Yes.
it's between
Yeah.
the two cities.
So we started our planning with them, with the Waynesville Club, like back in January, having our monthly meetings to work our way up to, what we're going to have, what type of cars we're going to have this year, get our posters ready, we sell T-shirts. Mary and I both have T-shirts from a former show. That's a big money maker. But then the registration is like $15. If you want to register your car, it's $15. If you do it day of the show, if you do it before the show, it's $10. And then admission for the general public is completely free. Things we offer this year, we have food, we have a DJ with music going all day, we have giveaways, we do a raffle, 50-50 split the pot type of raffle, and then we give away door prizes. I recruited some tickets to like the Reds, the Dragons, the Bengals, give away a pair of tickets for some of those prizes that they can, part of the raffle. And then we also, with the help of our sponsors, have giveaways for our drivers. Throughout the event, throughout the day, we'll draw names of the drivers, and they'll come up and get a little goodie bag and with different kind of things.
Now, what kind of cars come to the car show?
Every kind you can imagine. Like Mary said, they go back, what is it? Is it pre-50s?
Yeah, I actually have the list right here. We start with antique cars. We've had Model Ts there. Last year we had Model Ts. We divide up the classic cars into categories by years, like 1950 to 59, 60 to 69, and so on, all the way up to present. Because I know my husband and I are in a Mustang club, so we've got ours is a 2010, but like several people, there's different car clubs that will come. So it's every kind of club. We even have a category called Most Unique for that car that you just don't know exactly where it is.
Don't know where to put it.
I think we had a Volkswagen or something had eyelashes or something last year. So we also do off-road. In fact, our new car, our shirt this year is going to have an off-road vehicle on it. So we have a category for off-road. We do motorcycles, trucks. So any kind is welcome. So and the car show as far as the people coming in, 10 o'clock to 2:30, and was when we do our final, like when we do the trophies, it's over at 3. So it's kind of nice because it's a big day, but it's not, you're out of there by 3 o'clock. The cars, some of them often go to another show that evening or cruise in. The cars can come in as early as 9 a.m. And come on in, and if they're pre-registered, they bring that with them, and if not, we'll get them registered as they come in. Registration does stop at 11:30, and judging begins at noon.
Now, you have cars from all over the place coming? How far away do some of the cars come?
Probably Columbus is probably one of the further away
Columbus,
places.
Kentucky, I think.
We did have a car from Kentucky last year, so maybe 2 hours is probably the most, an hour and a half to 2 hours
Now,
away.
I understand there's something called a dash plaque that they
Yes.
can get. What's that?
First 100 registers at the show get a dash plaque that has all the information about the show and everything. It's kind of a collector's item for the drivers.
And you said last year you had more than 100?
Yeah, we had 168. So we're actually ordered, I believe, about 25 more dash bikes
we're
this
gonna
year.
do a
So I
little
think
more.
it's, I don't know if it says on here, I think it's like the first 125. So, I don't
And
know
the
if you can-
venue's no problem as far as having all these cars.
No, so far it has not
Yeah.
been. The church has been very nice up there at Lifehouse Church. We are able to put the cars mostly in the back parking lot. Sometimes we have a little overflow area. Last year, as far as getting people in to see it, most people that visit, they stay for a little while and leave. So we have been able to accommodate everyone. A lot of the car owners say it's one of their favorite shows because it has indoor restrooms. We have a cooling room indoors. The church is really nice to let us use that. We also have a pavilion outdoors where they can get out of the sun, and then we have a food truck there. And this year, Mike was able to get
A fire truck, part of our aid for first aid, a fire truck from Turtle Creek Township. And we're going to have Italian ice served as one of our refreshments. In addition to our regular trailer that sells burgers and hot dogs and chicken, all those at a very reasonable price for the
Now,
food.
when is this now?
Okay, it is July 15th. So this summer. So it is warm, and that's why we were trying to get some Italian ice or something in there. And of course, we always have water and stuff available for anybody that needs it. But it is Saturday, July 15th. It is always the third Saturday in July. So
Now, if people want to sponsor or if people want to register their car, who do they contact?
as far as registration, you can go online. I don't know if you can see this
It's
form.
Route 42 car show.
Yeah, I try to put these around town too. We'll have posters around town too, but you got the website for us, Mike?
Yeah, it's route42carshow.org, or they can do a search for Lebanon, Ohio Lions Club. We'll come up, and there'll be a link on our webpage to get to the car show information. And that has all the registration information for sponsors, for people attending. We have registration levels from $100 up to anything 1,000 or more. Each level, each level gets different things like banners, different size banners. They'll be on our website and on the program. If people want to pay a little more and get a booth themselves, we offer that. And then for the $1,000 level, they get to sponsor a trophy, get their name on a trophy. So we're looking for sponsors right now to be part of it and helps us
About
keep
how
things
many
flowing.
trophies will there be?
Well, you have all those different categories. So I'm not exactly sure how many categories we have. We have at least 15 categories.
Okay.
And then you've got first, second, and third. So you could be talking like 45 trophies. And we always have a grand champion, best of show. And that is sponsored by, I don't know if some of the viewers might recognize the name Ted Hennis. He used to always help out with the Lebanon Theater Company, and he was our past president, and his wife Pam passed away. She was our secretary a few years ago, and so he always pays for that Best of Show trophy. It's a real special trophy that we give out each time. We also have one for Best Custom Paint. That's kind of a bigger one. And then we also do one where the people coming to watch the show or the car owners can vote for their best car.
I was
So they
gonna
can
ask-
kind of walk through and vote for their best one, and we have a trophy for that as well.
Who does the judging? The people?
We have just for as far as the business. We try to get in. I know we're working on Lisa from the Tomcat Classic. We try to get people that are familiar with the cars or have owned classic cars, or we may pull someone from Lebanon Ford. My husband, he also judges the cars. We go to lots and lots of shows. We have a '68 Mustang ourselves and a 2010. So we try to get people that are familiar with painting, mechanics of a car, and or own classic cars that are really familiar with it. We try to have about 8 to 10 judges, and they either walk alone or hopefully in pairs whenever possible to judge the cars. So,
Now, if you had entered your car in the past, can you re-enter it this year?
oh yes, yes.
And we do the judging, and then we'll announce the winners about 3:00. And the people like that. I've talked to some of the drivers, and they said they like our show because it's not an all-day thing. It's over by 3, and then we kind of have a parade at the end of the show with all the cars exiting out of the facility. I think it's kind of cool to see all the cars go by.
Now, when I think of the Rotary Club, there's two things that come. I'm sorry. When I think of the Lions Club, there's two things that come to mind. The first one is the glasses. Going to my eye doctor, it was always a little container for glasses for the Lions Club. And the other one is the fantastic coupon
Yeah.
book you have.
Yeah.
Now, they're still available. Is that-
They are still available. And one thing, back to the glasses, we still have glasses or glasses boxes in most of the doctor's offices here in town. Also, the LCMB has one. YMCA has glasses boxes. So I know
Health
we have some other
department.
locations too, but just get those in and we'll get them collected. And those are used all over the world. They take them to SBOSH, which is a student vision place up at Ohio State, and then there's also another place that we take them to north of Dayton, where they take those glasses, they get the correct prescription for them, and then they get used. And we also take sunglasses, and because sometimes they're having eye surgeries or things where they might need sunglasses in glasses. Cases are fine too, and sometimes just the lenses are put in the boxes. So as far as our pass books, yes, we do still have them for sale. They last till December 31st, 2023. Several businesses in town have been really nice to have these and for sale at their offices. You can also contact us at our website. We can get you a book too if you're local. We have them at Anna's Gourmet Popcorn. We have them at Minuteman Press. The Sibsey Klein office here in town has them. I know where I get my hair done, Serenity Salon has them. Brian Hoying at Lebanon Ford has them. And also in the library, Mike Kletzley's one of our members, and he's down in the technology department, and he has some books down there too.
What's the price?
The price is $25, which is actually much more. They used to be, I think, $39.95, but we did reduce the price a little bit to kind of match them up with some of the other books that some of the schools were selling. This year, Bowman Primary School actually helped us sell some, and they worked on selling these in December and January, and then we're continuing to sell what we have left.
It's all local vendors.
Yeah,
not
Yeah.
just the restaurants.
you use 2 or 3 coupons and you've got your money back.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. There's
exactly.
golfing in here, so if you go
Car
to
repair, oil changes.
all kinds of the restaurants in town, many of them are buy one get one free. But I've even had people say when they're single, they buy one meal and take one home to eat later. So that works too. So, but yeah, salons. As I mentioned, what I want to say, the golf course down the Harmon Park,
yeah.
and then the golf ranch. There's there's one in there that the kids like to use for the putt-putt golf and things like that. So
A lot of great restaurants.
great value for $25.
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
Without
and
a
that's
doubt.
definitely one of our big, the car show and the pass books. Those are our number one fundraisers.
Oh, fantastic. So July
15.
15th?
Yes.
Okay, from 10 to 3 or so?
Yes.
And it's free to the public?
Right.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Absolutely free.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mary. Thank you, Michael, for being with us, and
Glad
I
to
wish
be
you
here.
the best of success
Okay. Thanks for
with
having us.
the car show.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Well, that's it for this week. You guys take care now, and I'll see you around town.